Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. Appreciate
No,
it.
I'm looking forward to it. I've not done something like this for a while, so yeah, I'm quite excited.
You're one of the, I said this to Josh Antman last week from Sky Sports. You're one of the, I suppose, founding fathers of golf podcasting, aren't you yourself? Because you had one, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess founding fathers would probably be a little bit strong, but yeah, I had one 4 years ago. I did it with one of my mates. It was really good fun, but you touched on it, I think, before we went live about how much content I do and just sort of prioritizing the things to do and things not to do. It's just sort of one of the things that I just couldn't keep up the quality. Then I was like, well, then I can't carry this on.
Yeah, he said the same. But you know what? When you started, it would have been around about the time that No Laying Up and Fried Egg and some of the other players were kind of just dipping their toe in the water.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it wasn't really a known thing, I suppose, was it? Podcasting for golf back then.
No, I think, like you said, you mentioned a few there. I think they were definitely some of the first to do it. Obviously, Rick was doing it. I think
Yeah.
Pete had one. But no, not many people were doing it. So it was quite niche. And we sort of talked about the breaking news topics in the golf industry. So I guess the things where people sort of tiptoed around it and didn't want to step on the wrong thing, we just sort of said it how it was, which is quite fun, actually.
Amazing. So Elliott is with us today, everybody, and we have been looking forward to speaking to him for so long because we've been following his journey and the various different things that he puts out on social media, etc., for a while. So thanks for joining us and welcome to the Halfway Hut, Alex.
No, thanks, guys. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Mark. I'm looking forward to doing this today. I've not done a podcast in a while. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we had a little chat just before about the fact that you had a podcast for quite a few years in a way. I think 22 to 24 kind of thing, or maybe a little bit before.
You sound like you know more than me. I think that's about right. Yeah.
We know that you got to 99 episodes, that's for sure. So that's
Oh,
pretty.
why did I stop? I should have at least got 100. I'll go and do another one now.
That's good. You'll be lying in bed tonight, won't you? Thinking,
Was it really 99?
yeah.
How did we stop at 99? That's poor, isn't it? That's terrible.
Well, because if you'd have got to 100, then you might have gone, we've got to carry on now.
Maybe I'll have to bring it back now just for episode 100.
You can reshare this one. But anyway, obviously you got to the end of that, I suppose, podcasting journey, and we'll probably cover a little bit about what happened in the early days. But you made a decision clearly for your own golf and for where your audience was going. What was sort of the button that you pressed in order to move on? What was the thing that you moved into?
I guess just going back to that, I had a YouTube channel that just did tips before I had the podcast. I was putting out like 3 to maybe 5 tips a week on my tips channel. And in the heyday, well, I'll say the heyday, in lockdown, I was doing one every single day.
Wow.
And that's sort of, I guess, the button that really changed everything for me. I had like a really small YouTube channel, maybe like 10,000 followers. COVID hit, no one could do anything apart from golf. I remember setting up a net in my parents' garden and went from like 10,000 to 150 in the space of like 3 to maybe 4 months, roughly around that. And that was really the button that was pressed to sort of shoot me off. Then the podcast came, and I guess the reason why we stopped doing the podcast was just purely and simply down to time and spreading our efforts everywhere. At that point, it was just me and my wife that was running our team. And then the podcast was run with one of my mates, and it was just done in our free time. And we just said, look, we both had kids on the way. I don't think this is realistic for us to carry on. So hence why the podcast didn't continue. And we then continued into following YouTube and have multiple YouTube channels now.
Yeah. I've noticed that. I know that we've watched a whole bunch of things. There's a specific thing that we know that we told you wanted to talk about, and that was your quest for the DP World Tour. At least certainly getting to Q School in 2027. So we'll come on to a lot of that because I think that's taken up the focus. Well, certainly for the next 18 or so months, isn't it?
100%.
But take us back, maybe. Where was the early days of golf? What got you the bug? Where was it? And sort of take us from, say, picking up a club to getting to PGA status.
So I started golf really early, like 4 years old. My dad played golf. So I guess like for most people, there's a really big barrier of getting into golf in the sense of your parents don't play. It's so hard. So like I remember my dad just cutting down his golf clubs, giving me some. And then at my golf club, there's like so many times now I look back where I was so fortunate. My golf club had 2 to 3 junior coaching sessions every single Saturday, which going back then, feel like I sound like I'm old now, 25, 20 years ago, was pretty much unheard of. Like nobody really had that. So I remember going at 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock. And from being about 4 till 5, I was just hooked. In my mind, I was spending more time with my dad playing golf and absolutely loved it. So I had lessons from the age of 4 or 5, and then that just really progressed. So as I went to school, maybe going from 8 to 12 years old, I played all sports, like football, your
Yep.
rugby. Rugby, I soon decided that I'm a bit small for that, so I'm going to sack that right off. I got
Yep.
a bit. Everybody got too big for me, so I was like, right, okay, I'll play football and cricket and golf. And then it
Yep.
got to about the age of 12 where I just said to my dad, like, look, I want to really just hone in on my golf here. So I think I was 12 years old and around like a 5, maybe 4 handicap. So not super low, but pretty good for the area. I mean, there was some guys that were a lot lower than me. But then I dedicated like all my time. So like after school in the summer, all summer holidays, I would just practice, play. Represented the county, never quite represented the country. And maybe about 17 years old, I think I got to 16 or 17, I got to +3.
Right.
So I got to a really good standard. But then I found it hard to compete at the higher level. Like I really did find that hard. But I remember having a conversation with my coach at the time, a guy called Andrew Murray. And I said to him, like,
Okay.
look, how do I compete? How do I get better? And he said, oh, you know what? It would be a great experience. Why don't you go and caddy for my son, Tom? So an 1836 event, like maybe a lot of people won't have heard of this, but this is like pre-clutch tour. This is
Yep.
pre-Euro Pro. This is like real
Yep.
pro golf, but like at the
remember that.
lowest.
Yep.
I remember caddying for Tom at Witchwood Park, and it was the most eye-opening 18 holes in my life. It was the easiest, I'm going to say 6 under I've ever seen. Like he won it by 3 shots. I was like that. My jaw hit the floor. So I then caddied for him, and a few weeks later, he just texted me saying, Alex, do you want to do tour school? So I was like, yeah, this is great. I mean, I enjoyed that. I'll do that. So I ended up doing second stage of tour school with him. He got through. Ended up then doing final stage of tour school with him. We got through, and he got a full European tour card. So then I thought, oh, he's going to sack me off. I've only just met him. Like, why would he take me? And then he sit me down and goes, do you want to do the year with me? So I was like, 2 right. 2 right, I'll do this. But I still had in the back of my mind that I wanted to play. So I was 17 at this time. So, but the way in which Tom's dad said to me was like, go and do it for a year. Learn your craft. Learn what these guys are doing. So I thought, right, yeah, you know what? I'll do that for a year. That year turned into 4 years, but within those 4 years, I did my PGA, which the PGA listened to this, they'll probably wanted to kick me off because I didn't do any of my hours. But I just thought I needed a bit of a fallback. So I think I started my PGA 19, finished it around 21, 22. And that was really great. Like looking back now, I had the exposure to best players in the world in practice rounds. People like Pete Cowan in the range. I just used to sit there and listen to him. So without knowing, I was getting like one of the best educations in the PGA you could ever dream of.
Absolutely.
And so at that point there, maybe 21, 22, I finished my PGA, and then I finished caddying purely because at that point I met my wife. And like people see the best caddies in the world, and yes, they earn millions. But the reality is, unless your player is inside the top 50 in the world, it's so hard. So I decided to stop caddying, follow my own dream of trying to play. That lasted about 6 months. I actually I literally got to the point where I entered one of these 1836 tournaments myself, finished 3rd, and I ended up with less money than I paid to enter.
Right.
Like these tournaments are so top heavy, and I came so disillusioned. I hated golf. I didn't want to play. Actually, I had no like desire to play at all. And that's where I really started to dive into my coaching, dive into a bit of YouTube, and I guess things have sort of spiraled from there.
So when was that you started YouTube?
I actually started to do a few YouTube videos when I was caddying.
Okay.
So I did a little bit. If you go back really far, there's a few behind the ropes sort of videos of when I was caddying for Tom.
Yeah.
That was sort of the start of it for me. I did a few tips and a bit of that as I was doing my PGA and stuff. But that was, I guess, the start of it for me. And I didn't really take it seriously at all. I just thought, this is pretty cool. Like, I don't think anybody really took it seriously at that point because nobody really knew what it was.
Oh.
And I guess when I finished caddying and I started coaching, my wife said to me, like, we should probably do this, not seriously, but like take it a little bit more seriously. Like you should post a little bit more, have a bit more of an upload schedule because that's your way to get lessons. I was like, okay, Yeah, I wouldn't have thought like that, so I'm glad she said it. And then we started to go, okay, we post Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We did that, I'm going to say, roughly for about a year and a half. And it went
Mhm.
okay. We got lessons, but then it started to go like downhill massively. I like to the point where we had to sit down and go, I'm probably just better coaching a bit more than putting my time into planning, filming, like video equipment's expensive. And then COVID hit. And that's what I was talking earlier of this changed massively. Like
Mhm.
it went for the point of I actually remember this conversation. One of my friends at the time, his girlfriend worked at an agency that deal with influencers. So I literally got around for for tea and was like, what do I do? Like I had literally no idea how to grow this. Fast forward then 3 months in COVID, we then exploded. And I guess like I know that time of period in time was a very strange time, but I think for golf, it seriously helped golf get younger people in. It helped me in terms of growing a channel and growing on a side of the business that I would never have had and probably would have left.
Yeah.
And well, I guess I'm very thankful for that time. I know it was terrible for a lot of people, but it was almost like an opening doors moment. As it was one point, I could have stopped it, something opened, and then you know what, we're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was getting messages every day saying, "Oh, have you seen this golf thing?" And I was thinking, I don't even know that you liked golf. It just absolutely
Yeah.
boomed
Exploded.
through COVID. It was amazing for golf in a sense, but obviously around the world it was terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think if you just look at it in terms of golf, like I don't know quite the demographic, but I think it went down from like the average age being, let's say, around 50s to into the 40s, which is like a huge shift.
Massively. But it's also quite fascinating because it seems to be more and more younger ones are getting into it as well, which was a real struggle, say, I don't know, 10 years ago. It was, you just didn't really, the junior programs were starting to almost die out half the
Yeah.
time at clubs. It was hard to try and convince juniors to get into golf because they just wanted to play football or a different sport. So
It was
how
hard
did
just to convince anybody to play golf. Like people were picking
True.
up cycling, people were doing everything apart from golf. But now, like you guys will see it. Like there's so many people doing podcasting, but that's because there's so many more people doing it, and there's so much interest in everything within golf. Like you could just be interested in tech, or you could just be interested in getting better on the tip side of things, or you could just be interested in watching people. I know people now who watch golf course vlogs. They don't even play golf.
Mm.
Like they just watch it because it's quite therapeutic, someone said. I mean, I'm probably not watching mine. Mine's quite stressful, but it's quite therapeutic. I was like, okay, fair. Whatever floats your boat. But I find it quite interesting that.
Yeah, I think even since we started this nearly a year ago, we've seen so many the growth of YouTube golf influencers. I think it's sort of content creator classics and all things like that. There's a whole bunch of guys, self, Deb, Brown, the four brothers, not to mention, Rick and Pete do what they do, but certainly on even the funny skits and things like that. The people are turning to golf that were footballers and now
Yeah.
ex-professional footballers have got a career in social media. Golf, Ian Poulter, Bryson, actual people who still playing golf have got a
Yeah.
massive.
Tommy Seawood now?
Yeah, exactly. Just
I honestly
missing.
think the start of it. Like, I
Yeah.
know that might sound crazy because some people would say, oh, no, I think the bubble might pop. But I genuinely think we're at the start of a massive shift from people watching your traditional golf, let's just say your PGA Tour or your DP World Tour, where they watch their heroes, whereas their heroes now are becoming YouTubers because that's what people watch now instead of TV.
Mm,
And then there's going to come a point where that's where a lot of the big players now are going, oh, hang on. I can see this shift going from prize money in tournaments from the PJ Tour now being put into creators. It's a bit like boxing. I hate
yeah.
to use the Jake Paul thing, but he earns more money than a heavyweight boxer.
Yeah.
I'm not saying golf's going to go to that amount, but I think people are seeing that shift. People would
Yeah.
rather watch someone that's relatable paired up with Tommy Fleetwood than Tommy Fleetwood on his own,
Yeah.
excluding majors. There's still that time and place for that. But I really do think there's a shift happening there.
I couldn't agree more. And the Internet Invitational is spearheading that, isn't it? Because the prize money that they're talking about for people that would never ever get anywhere near that
Oh,
kind of money or purse if they were to rock up at a PGA Tour event is crazy.
yeah.
But like you say, it's where people are going. It's where the viewers are. It's where the audience is. So yeah, you might be right. I hope you're right because we've only been doing this a year and we're looking at ways of diversifying the
100%.
channel and things like that.
I definitely, I mean, obviously no one knows it for definite, but there's no way people like Barstool Sports are investing that amount of money in it to
Mhm.
be just the first. That's just the start.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I genuinely think like it's gonna become pay-per-view in the end. Like it might not be on YouTube, but it'll become pay-per-view. Like and it'll probably be collaboration with YouTube and pay-per-view. Who knows? But
Mhm.
I genuinely think that's the way it's going.
Yeah,
For sure.
I think you're
Sure.
right. Bringing things back to your kind of focus and your outlet, shall we say, has it always been up until, I suppose, dare I say, recently with this new thing you're doing with 2027 Q School? Has it always been centered around teaching?
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
up until probably I'm gonna say around November time last year, my channels were associated around either teaching and that just literally only like 8 to 12 minute teaching videos, occasionally teaching a live lesson or then a review channel. I'd never really put a playing video online before. I'd done them with other people on their channel, but never on my own before. I guess I'm going to preempt what you're going to say, why the change, but the change because one, I could see the market shifting that way. I think you've got to be open to pivot in any business. Like if you look
Sure.
at a business head, you can't just be stubborn and say, no, I've always done tips. That's what I'm going to do. I've done it for 7 to 8 years. So
Yeah.
like, I know that industry really well. I'm really known for it, but no one's ever seen my personality side or
Okay.
what I actually got into golf for. So I just sat down to my wife and said, look, I know this is going to be a massive risk, but we'll post our tips on another channel. So we still have that, but I want to follow this dream and I want to document it. Like, I just want to go whole hog. If it goes great, it goes great. If it goes bad, it goes bad. I'm going to be open to criticism. I know it's a really ambitious goal, but I just think it's something that I always want to do. My daughter's at like 2 years old now. When she gets older, like, it's going to be really hard to do this kind of thing. So now it's like sort of now or never.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, okay, we're going for it this year. So yeah, I guess that the change was one, I could see the market going that way.
Mhm.
But number two, it's something that I've always wanted to do. And in that time of not really playing for the last 6 years, I've sort of built up that a bit of hunger again of going, okay, you know what? I think I've had enough time away from it competitively. I want to get back to that. And it
Yeah.
showed. I was very rusty to start with, like, honestly, it was terrible. But I started to see some real big improvements straight away, which is
Yeah.
great. And I know it's going to be a journey not like this. It's going to be like this, backwards, up, down. But I'm genuinely excited about making YouTube videos and playing again.
Uh,
And I definitely think people can see that on the videos. It's really, I'm really excited. Like I can't wait to play again next week. I'm going to Fairhaven near me. I played
nice.
SNA last week. I'm playing really good golf courses. It's like living the dream I wish I could have done when I was 21.
Yeah.
I suppose it's a bit more enjoyable being able to go back to competitive golf as opposed to you almost fell out, as you said before, you fell out of love with golf. But being able to go on this competitive sort of journey again, but bring a load of people who are almost cheering you on at the same time and enjoying it with you. Does that make it a bit easier for you to go out and play golf again?
For sure, definitely. YouTube and every social media platform gets absolute comments and people give it the bad side of the fact that, oh, I get so much hate. But genuinely, I've never seen so many nice comments on my videos before. Like, it's unbelievable. It's almost got people cheering you on, like you say. It's crazy. But not only that, I think now because I've got quite a big following, I managed to collaborate with some very good golf coaches. So when I was younger, I was paying for lessons and you're sort of going, I can't really afford that. I can't do that. Whereas now, like, I'm collaborating with these coaches. They're really enjoying it because they're getting some good exposure. I'm enjoying it because I'm getting awesome tuition. So
Sure.
we've got like this really good relationship. And that excites me because it's never something I've had in terms of like constant coaching, constant feedback at the highest level. And I feel like if you're going to do this, the top guys have that. So you need to have that string to your bow. Being able to show that, bring that to YouTube, but also help my own career is really quite cool.
Yeah. 100%.
Love that. Yeah.
And you're scratching an itch that a lot of people would like to scratch, wondering, could I have done this? What if even people that aren't at your level, that say have 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever handicap. I mean,
That's me.
Chris talked about qualifying for the Open, having a go just to see where his game's at. And I think people love to follow along. Jimmy Bullard's another one, isn't he? When he tried to get in the Open last year, whether he gets in or not, that was irrelevant to me as a follower. It was like, go on then, have a go. Do you know what I mean? And you want someone to do well in a situation. We're not really narcissists in the main. You get the odd hater, as you said, but we want people to succeed. It might be a little bit humorous when they fail or hit a bad shot. That's just golf. That's golf with your mates. That's golf at professional level. But yeah, no, it's a really interesting concept. I mean, do you think that you're going to have to change your focus on what you do? Because I know you've done stuff with Matt Fryer. He's a cracking character, and you've done a lot of collaborations. Have you got a sort of a plan with your coaches where because we might as well start getting into this now. We need to cut that out. We need to do this rather than that. This is the focus.
Yes and no, but the great thing
Right.
is, because now I've managed to sort of build up a bit of a team behind me, I can just do what I want to do within reason. Obviously, I do have to do other things, but I
Yeah.
can really just dedicate my time to getting better. Like, I've got this quest for getting faster, so I'm training in the gym
Sure.
3 times a week. I'm doing speed sticks every other day.
Nice.
And really, a lot of people don't realize it's not like you have to train all day, every day. It's like doing really good work, 2 to 3 hours every day. Obviously, I'd love to do more, but I've still got to do other things as well. But I'm really starting to, since November, dedicate that time to absolutely everything. And a lot of the stuff doesn't actually get shown on YouTube, because sometimes, like, it's the time where I'll be stretching in the morning at 6 a.m. and I'll do my daily mobility that I've been set with the fitness coach that I've been doing. I'll be
Okay.
doing that every single day. And that, over the course of 3 months, has shown up massively.
Really.
But how I'm sort of working is now, at the moment with Anders, I think what's great is, as well, because I come from a coaching background,
Yeah.
and seeing how the top players practice, I sort of have that side of things already. So I've set myself my own practice schedule. I'm just sort of filtering the little bits Scott set me for putting, the
Yeah.
little bits Anders has set me for my long game, and then hoping to do some more work with James Ridyard for short
Yeah.
game on chipping. And I'm just filtering that into what I have as my knowledge, until, like, maybe I'll get in with somebody who's like a statistician and do something like that. And that'll really be maybe offer a different dynamic. But my sole focus is completely and utterly down to, can I just get the best player I can be?
Love that. You've kind of touched on what my next question was. Being around tour players, you said you saw how they practiced. Was there particular things that you saw, maybe not just in their practice, but how they, maybe course management or anything like that, that you could think, oh, right, I can take that and apply to myself?
The one thing I'd say is, like, it is going to sound mad when people hear what I'm about to say, they play boring golf. Like, I have this image in my head. We were at the Spanish Open. I was caddying. That's like my second year caddying. We played with a guy called Anthony Wall. He might have only won once on tour, but I think he kept his card, I'm going to say,
Yep.
for 25 years.
Yeah.
And we walked off on the Friday where we were scrapping to make the cut, and we just made the cut. And we walked off, and I went to Tom. He was a bit naff today. He didn't do anything. And Tom went, he shot 4 under. I was like, because he didn't do anything like spectacular, like after a bit of miraculous one from the trees or hit it seriously close, he just hit it consistently good. And then, okay, next week I was like, okay, well, what's he doing? How's he practicing? So he obviously does his reps on the range, and being sort of more towards the twilight of his career, he'd probably had that time where he was grinding. He knew his swing. But at the time when he was there, he'd do like 1 to 2 hours practice every day, but then he'd go and play 9 holes each time.
Right.
And every time he played 9 holes, the amount of time he spent around the greens of his caddy throwing out these fake holes that we all used to have. And that was where he spent his time on practice, actually out on the golf course that he was playing that week, as opposed to what I think most young pros have this idea of, is just belting balls, 300 to 500 balls a day. And I think, like, that's the one thing that I've really taken to heart. Like, a lot of my practice at the moment, yes, of course, it's going to be at the range because it's snowing. But as soon as the golf course gets better, I'm really going to focus on, can I go and play 9 holes every other day? Can I go and spend time around a short game? Like, one of the things that Anders has set me, and it's the most, it honestly screws with your head, reverse scramble. It's a worse ball.
Yeah. I saw that one of your videos the other day with Tom when you played.
So I did it with Tom, and that made it a lot easier. But I've done it on my own 3 times since, and it is torturous. Like, in one of the videos that actually is going up on Sunday, I chipped in, but then my second chip was like 5 feet, and you're like, well, the chipping don't count.
Infuriating.
But I think, like, that really helps you work on, like, your mindset, your ability to not just hit 1 good shot, your ability to then hit 2. Can you perform? Can you actually execute? Rather than, it's not sound like a throwaway comment. I'd fancy myself going around shooting 300 for 9 holes in 1 ball, but can you do it if you do worse ball with 2? Then that's showing you that you're really getting in somewhere good. Because guaranteed, the likes of, I'm going to say, I know these guys are so far away from where I am right now. Tommy Fleetwood, if he did it, he'd be 4 or 5 under par on a tour level course. But if I'm going to work towards where they are, I need to hold myself to the same standards. And that's what I really think is a great measure, playing that game, and it makes for good content as well. So I think there's always a good sort of mishmash between them both.
Yeah. So who's your mental coach? Have you decided on that yet?
Again, it sounds like I've been, fortunately, like, through my career, I mean, I've been fortunate to be in the right place at the right time a few times, but then I always prize myself on working really hard. So maybe that's just being one of the things that I've been there. I managed to do a lot with Carl Morris.
Okay. Yeah.
He's worked with Ryan Fox. I guess his claim to fame a few times was the dot with Louis Oosthuizen when he won the Open at St Andrews. He's worked with Darren Clarke when he won the Open. He worked with Gray McDowell when he won the US Open. So like he's worked with a lot of very good players. I think he recently finished working with Laurie Cantor, but he's had a great season as well. And every time I spend time with him, I walk off like it's almost like someone's lifted a weight off your shoulders. Like he's so like liberating. Just do that. I'm like, Carl, why can't can you just be inside my head 24/7, mate? Like, he is so good. I guess my answer to the question would be I'm working with him, but I've worked with him for the last 4 or 5 years just on creating content. But now it's funny how I can use all those little bits of skills that he's taught me and taught my viewers to help myself.
Yes.
It's almost like the whole 6-7 years of making tip videos has helped me get better. And especially when I've collaborated with some really good people, being able to use those skills now on myself, it's a bit like, it does actually work.
Yeah, I've been following Carl for years. In fact, I'm doing his certified mind factor.
I did it. It's so good.
Yeah. I didn't get to go to Manchester to the last one, but I did get the course, and I've been sent all the 3 days worth of videos, etc. But it's finding 3 days to actually do it. So I'm fully on board, fully invested into a lot of things that Carl has done and continues to do. So yeah, that would be sound. I mean, when it comes to, you said your training, which is an interesting one, isn't it? Because everyone seems to smash the ball a country mile. Do you feel that will be key to your success in this program long term, or are you going to have to focus on other elements of your game?
I think it's a bit of both. It's like a really well-rounded approach. Like I'm under no illusion like I am a million miles away from the guys on tour, and they hit it way further than me. Like I know that right now, but I'm saying to everybody, this is where I want to get to, and this is how I'm going to do it. Whether I get there or not, who knows, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what might happen, but that's where we're going. So yeah, I mean, right now I started in November. I was at 106 clubhead speed. I mean, really slow. Like I mean, tour average I think 115. I've been training. I put a video up, I'm going to say, was it last week? I'm now at 111.5 average. Yep. Now, a lot of that 106 was literally because I hadn't played. So I get there's a big improvement there. And the next probably 3 or 4 miles an hour is going to be seriously hard to access. But how I think and how I know, speaking to fitness coach, speaking to which is Jamie Greaves, he does some great stuff online. And then speaking with Anders it's going to be, okay, well, for you to compete, Alex, you're not going to be a Marco Penge of the golf career. You're going to be more like a Brian Harman, where you're going to hit it a good distance compared to most people. You're going to have to be super good with your irons. You're going to have to be super good with your short game. And there's going to be tournaments where you play even an 1836 or at a clutch level, or even if we did get to Challenge Tour, where you're just not going to be able to compete. Yeah. But Brian Harman knows that, and he's made a great career of it. Absolutely. So for me to get to where that position to be, okay, in a Brian Harman position, I guess, and sort of that analogy would be, I think it's fitness, a little bit of technique, and then really improving my short game. Yeah. Whereas Marco would be, okay, well, I just need to keep hitting it a long way and be pretty accurate. And I've done that down. He's way better than that. But he has to work on totally different areas of the game to me. Yeah. To be competitive. And I think that's amazing. Really important to people to understand is like, you don't just have to hit it a long way to compete. There's just going to be tournaments where you don't compete because of X, Y, Z. But there's going to be weeks where you seriously do compete and you're going to be in a better position than others. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And during this journey as well, have you looked at maybe reassessing your clubs at all?
Funny. Yeah, I've actually went for a driver fitting yesterday. Okay. So I got fitted into the new Callaway at Scottsdale, the new driver. So I've gone for the Triple Diamond Quantums. In fact, it's just come out now. I'm filming this at 15:05. Embargo's just lifted. And yeah, I got fitted into the Triple Diamond Draw, or Max they call it, which is like a tour head from last year. It was so popular, they've now brought that to mass market, and it's unreal. I'm totally brand agnostic. I have no allegiances to any brand. And it was standout for me. And that was really, really good. So I've updated driver. I updated my wedges last week down at Titleist. Okay. So got some new wedges.
Nice.
And I actually got some new irons down there as well. Again, just because they're really good, not because I'm with the brand or anything like that. It's just they were the best for me. So
Right.
I've gone down that route. Like I don't want to be pigeonholed into using one brand. I want to just be like, I want to use whatever I can use to help me get to where I want to get to.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the curve face technology that Avoda are
I
using?
have. I've been speaking to them a few times to just
Right.
try them, and I think it's a really, really interesting concept. I think it'll be very rogue for me to go and try something completely different. I know they're not that different, but there is different technology in such a crucial year, considering I've played golf since I was like 4.
Yeah.
It's something I'm open to explore, but I think right now it would be not a wild thing for me to do because it's not that much different, but
Mm.
it would be maybe a slightly left field move.
Yeah, I understood.
Yeah,
I
it makes
understood.
sense.
So you've named them all. I had them written down. You've got Anders for your long game. You've got Scott for the putting, and that video you did with James was very eye opening. And before I get onto my question, just the fact that you're documenting this is so helpful to all of us, that you're taking us on the journey, just as a little bit of feedback, really. And because you could do it all behind closed doors and just come out and say, I've been doing this. Here's
Yeah.
a video of me putting into 18 holes of what I've been learning. But the actual stuff that you're doing behind the scenes is so helpful, so unbelievably helpful. But the question is, out of all the areas, putting, short game, let's throw in mental and long game, as of right now, where would you say is your weakest part of the game and where's your strongest?
Short game is definitely the weakest. Like my chip in and like that time I spent with James it's just from 2 points of view it was eye opening. One,
Yeah.
from a coaching point of view, I learned so much. Like my jaw hit the floor with the amount of stats that he was coming out with.
Yeah.
And not only that, the way that he taught, like he never stood there and just went, "This is what you need to do."
Right.
Like he allowed me to explore it and come to my own conclusion of what I needed to do. He just sort of led me down the path. So that way I owned that skill. So that I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to take that into my coaching. So that was great.
Amazing.
But then when he was hitting chip shots just cold, I was like, flipping heck, he is so good. And he's a coach. Like, what the people like he's teaching. So like my short game's okay, but compared to where it needs to be and compared to him, that's probably the weakest area of my game. Inside 70 yards and in is really weak. I'm going to say driving is one of the strongest points, but I'm not long enough. But I hit it really, really straight.
Right.
Love that.
So, I played with Formula Lady with Matt, and I prize myself to be able to hit driver where other people wouldn't. And in fact, he taught me into doing it more and more and more. And I was like, okay, maybe I should really listen to it. He's telling me I'm pretty good. I knew I was okay. So now I hit driver pretty much everywhere I can, which is obviously an advantage because most people would probably hit an iron at this level now. So I'd say driving accuracy is my strongest. Inside 70 yards is my weakest.
Okay. Interesting. And where do you practice your facilities? Do you have a backyard golf range or net or inside sim, or is it you've got to go to a course or a performance center to play your golf?
Mixture. I fortunate to be attached at Mottram Hall,
Okay.
which
Lovely.
is like 15 minutes from me. So
There, a few
they've
months
got
ago.
a really good grass range in the summer. I mean, right now it's a little bit wet, but in the summer it's like a really good grass range. I practice there. I go to a place called the Beaches. I think it actually won facility of the year, and it's really, really good. Coffee's great as well, and I love my coffee, so that's even added bonus. So I go between Mottram, the Beaches, and then I try and go to all the golf courses around the sort of northwest to play. But most of my practice is actually done at the beaches at the minute. But that's purely because of the time of year. That will transition as the weather gets better tomorrow at Mottram.
Yeah. Do you find that playing different courses makes you a better golfer instead of just staying at one track and really just focusing on how you're playing there? Is it better to go
Definitely.
different courses, basically?
I touched on it earlier when I was 17 and got to +3. I said I was really good, but wasn't good outside of that. I thought I was good, but then I wasn't very good at transferring those skills elsewhere. And that's one of the things I didn't do enough as a kid, is go and play loads of other courses. I played a few, but looking back, compared to the people that now on tour and are similar age to me, like Matty Jordan, he was from Cheshire. He was playing the same age group as me, and he was 5 years younger than me. Looking back at the time, he was so good, but he was playing everywhere, and I didn't do that enough. So I'm trying to learn from those mistakes that I didn't do as much as I should have done when I was younger. I'm doing now, but I really think if you can, obviously this is down to expense, isn't it? It costs a lot to go and play these places, and I'm being realistic here when I'm saying fortunately with the PGA, we do get courtesy unless you take the mick. So I try not to go to the same places, but the golf courses are very accommodating, especially this time of year. They're really, really good. So I'm trying to go to as many good places just to refine my skills as much as I can, because every golf course will have a different test. Like, for example, SNA last week was a lot more on, okay, how's my inside 100 yards? Because it's on forward tees, it was a lot more tight serve 100 yards. Whereas I know Fairhaven in a few weeks' time, tees might be a bit further back. It might be more like mid-irons. I played Northamptonshire County on Monday, and that was very much on scoring irons again. But every golf course will offer a slightly different test. And I really find that is a great way to go, okay, well, Parkland, Heathland, Links, they all require different things. And you need all those skills if you're going to compete at any level. Like, if I'm just saying like a Clutch where we're going to play a lot this year, you need those skills, because those guys at Clutch are as good as the guys on Challenge 5 years ago. Like, they're so good. Like, and I feel old now, and they're like 10 years younger than me, which is, I'm almost like the old man coming in, which is really bizarre, because I think of myself, I've got like a baby face. I always think of myself as being really young, but the reality of what I'm doing is I'm going up against 17-year-olds who are 6'5" and have 120-mile-an-hour clubhead speed. So I need to be able to golf my ball better than them. They might hit it better than me, but I need to be able to golf my ball better than them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
not be annoyed when they're out driving you, if they're out driving you.
No, they will outdrive me, Mark. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. You said a couple of things there in a minute ago. I've known a lad called Ben Evans, who now does a bit of clutch. He was on the European tour as it was.
I know him.
You
I know him well. He was playing the same time we were playing, between DP, or between European Tour and Challenge Tour at the time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I sponsored him back in the day when he came out of Q School.
Oh, wow.
18 years old. So got to know him really well and spent a lot of time with him outside of tournaments playing golf. And I remember playing East Sussex National with him down our neck of the woods, because we're in Sussex. Hosted the European Open many, many years ago. We played with him at Remedy Oak, didn't we?
Yeah.
What you just said about Anthony Wall, you look at his score at the end, you think, oh, he couldn't have shot that great, and he goes up 4 under, and you're like, just didn't do anything wrong. It was just easy. It just make it look so easy, didn't it? You were saying that.
I was, yeah, because 4 holes in, I was thinking I'm gonna show off. I get to impress him. I was 1 under. I was thinking, yes, here we go.
Woo, let's go.
I did not do that at all. I think I shot 85 in the end, and I looked over at his scorecard, and he shot like 5 under. I'm thinking, how on earth did you just do that?
No mistakes.
That was it. It was just, but it wasn't like, as you said before, you do anything special, but it was just dead straight every time. Fairway, green,
up and down if you missed a green, and eagle or birdie on the par 5s.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't tournament conditions,
but
still, like, what's the mad thing is, for someone like Ben, who's played at the highest level, sometimes going and playing, maybe it's a little bit different, Mark, because you were sponsoring him, but when you go and play with your mates, sometimes it's actually hard to get up for it and play well. Like, I played multiple rounds with Tom where he might have shot only like level par, like, this is going back years ago. But then on the tournament conditions, it's totally different. They just switch on and they go, right, okay, I'm good doing this. They just don't think sometimes, and they're just too relaxed. You almost need like that almost butterfly nervousness feeling to actually perform. So it is sometimes hard for them to perform at not saying a lower level, but like when they've not got a tournament card in their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. How do you feel because we talked about putting, talked about mental, long game, short game. How do you feel, and it might be a stats question, but how do you feel your strategy is? Because, and I say this, there's a little bit of an ulterior motive to this question. I was watching your video you put out the other day. I think it was Manchester. It was the one where you said, right, this is tournament conditions, and you just lasered the first hole, par 3, and the second was a par 5. And on the tee box, you're talking about getting home in 2, and then you find yourself in that rough, didn't you, on the left?
Yeah.
Second shot.
I know where this is going. I'll leave it in there.
Second shot beneath your feet, it advances like 10 feet, and then you play it sideways, and it kind of comes almost behind you. And now that was nasty. And I think you quite rightly say, oh, this is the kind of stuff you're going to face when you play links golf. Looking back over that, it's just one of many examples, and we all do the post-analysis round, don't we? Post-round analysis, sorry. Would you have played that differently?
I mean, I have to answer it yes, right? Because I didn't get it out. But genuinely, at the time, I was only trying to like advance it 10 yards. So at the time, I thought I was making the right decision. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I should definitely have hit like 58 and
Yeah.
just done the first thing. So yeah, I gotta say, yeah, I should have definitely done that differently.
And is that difficult? Is that not difficult? It's the wrong word. Is that a situation where you analyze all what you're doing, strategy compared to say some of the stuff you used to see on tour? Oh, it's such a big question. Take your medicine, do things differently, be a bit more stronger into these awkward lies. Do you feel strategy is something that is going to play an equal part in your progression of the next 18 months?
I think one for me that does not going to hit it as far as everybody else. Like, I think it's probably one of my biggest things, if I'm honest.
Right.
But like, sounds a bit like how can you actually be good at strategy? I literally left it in the thick rough, but I actually would say I'm pretty good at that from having caddied. But what I think I need to get better at is when you play golf on your own, you look at it emotionally, all right?
Yeah.
So like you're emotionally going, yeah, I can do this. I can get it out of here. Whereas if I was looking at it from a caddy side of things, where you're looking at it very much black and white.
Sure.
Because a player gets really emotional over it. Well, I can get this out. And might have done it 5 years ago when they were a kid and they go, yeah, I can do it again. Whereas the caddy's job is to remind them that, okay, well, look, we're playing a game of percentages here. You're not going to get it up as far as you want. We get it out here. We avoid these bunkers. And I think because at most of the tournaments I'm going to play, I'm not going to have a caddy. I almost need to have that caddy mentality without the emotion attached to it, which is going to be super hard. But I think my course management, to answer the question, is really good, but could get better if I just stop thinking of it so emotionally.
Sure. Yeah, which some of the mental training will come in with a lot of that, I would imagine, as well. Yeah, no, fascinating. So in terms of your 18 months, you've met a lot of people. You've probably been introduced to, made some good friends on tour, in the game. Clearly you have. Will you be looking for any sort of sponsors invites to any main, not main tour events, but any high stakes, shall we say, mental stakes competitions if you can? And or will you be trying to get some 18-hole matches against, let's call it stiff competition, so that you can see where your game stacks up as opposed to maybe playing a friend equal, or I don't know, maybe you're a bit better than them. Are you try and test yourself in real competitive situations, not just against the course, if that makes sense?
Answer the first question around a tour invite, let's say somewhere like Challenge Tour or something like that.
Yeah.
I think realistically, I wouldn't get one of those.
Sure.
Unless like the marketing team has a real shift and they want to really promote the Challenge Tour. The Challenge Tour has always acted like a feeder tour, so they've not really put too much behind it. But that could change. I would love one, but realistically, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the only way that happens if I get through to final qualifying and then, for example, other things happen from there. That's my first real goal. I have to get through to final qualifying to just sort of legitimize what I'm saying.
Sure.
I know it's a lot of pressure and it's only one round, but if I get to final qualifying, that really legitimizes my process and my story this year.
Yes.
I would then like to play a lot of clutch. I think I'm in talks with them to try and do something with that. So I guess that would be answering both really, like tourish event and then up against stiff competition. But what I have in the pipeline is playing a few DP World Tour players.
Exactly. Yeah,
through the year. Nothing fully confirmed, but there's a few guys that work with a few brands that I might work with this year that there's some really good opportunities to collaborate on through the season. Plus, for example, the British Masters, they have a really good pro-am. So have been able to organise things around playing with X person or Y around those events.
Yeah.
They're going to be some really good markers for this journey. Because instead of playing them as part of the scramble, we'll be doing it me versus them, which will be really, really cool. So, yeah, I think stiff competition is going to be a great part of the journey to see where I'm at and see the difference. You never know. I mean, it could be good. It could be bad. I know Jimmy Bullard played really well when he did the British Masters this year. And in fact, I think he might have nearly beat the person he played against. But that's over one round. And those guys play four. They're playing week in, week out. And it's not actually a tournament. But it would still be like a really good marker. Look, I'd love an invite and I'd love to play these guys every single week. But realistically, right now, I think that's something that might happen not this year, the year after, the whole invites and stuff. As I said, I think that might have been off camera or maybe on here, but I really do think the whole YouTube golf is in its infancy. I know people will go, it's been here for 7 years, Alex, you've done it for a while, but the whole YouTube golf tournament is going to get big, really big.
Cool.
And I hope to be part of that rise of it because the guys in America, let's say Bradley Dahlk, like, he's an unbelievable player. Like, he's a college golfer. Like, I'm not going to say he could compete on the PGA Tour. I think he said this himself. Like, there's different pressure to do that. But collaborating with people like that would be amazing, because not only from a collaboration point of view, but also these guys are really good. So it's a great measure of where my game's at compared to them. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting year. Nothing fully confirmed, but I get a lot of these things sometimes are got to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what you say. We had Ryan Ruffles on this week on the lads golf, do their content creation out in America. Him and all of his, I guess you call them peers, colleagues. They're all like +4, +5.
Yeah,
They-
there's no one worse than a +4 on the team.
Yeah. How good's that?
Yeah,
It's
it's amazing.
ridiculous.
They play with Jason all the time. They get to just hang out when he's not there. When he is there in his backyard in that unbelievable short game facility. In fact, it's not just a short game. I think it's got an actual golf course and a driving range across the road. It sounds amazing.
Ridiculous.
We've
yeah.
been invited out there. So
Oh,
hopefully
you
that
guys
will
got to
work.
go. Get on that plane now.
100%. Yeah, I know. But it's covered in snow at the moment.
Don't go now.
But if you like Jimmy took along Golf Life, and I think someone else took the Four Brothers, if you ever need a couple of AMs for your pro am, give us a shout. We'll help you
100%,
out.
guys.
I'll show you how to shank a
Quite
ball. It's
cool.
fun.
Nah, I don't believe it, Chris.
That'd be one of the goals that we've got to get out. We've got a whole bunch of 2v2s going on this year, but it's interesting to know
Nice.
where to kind of divert your energies, etc., and what's going to, I suppose, get the views. Because a bit like you, we're trying to run a business, we're trying to start and
Yeah.
grow a business, and a lot of this is for love at the moment in terms of monetizing it. It's a massive decision to take. It's usually what comes first, chicken and egg. Do you just throw it out there and commit? Do you get sponsors? Anyway, that's another conversation for another time. But no, it'd be great to see you getting out on some of these, high level caliber competitive situations where, tell them to just go for it, because then I guess you see where your game stacks up, right?
Yeah, and I think now more than ever, the guys on tour are open to doing this.
Absolutely.
Like, even if they don't have a channel, like I saw Richard Mansell was starting to film some stuff. They're realizing that if they want to have their sponsors, they need to give their sponsors eyeballs.
Yeah.
And that might not be through their channel. That might be through going and doing other things. And I really do believe, like, if you're a DP World Tour player now, like, go back 10 years ago, like, you turn DP World Tour, you probably get a lot of people sponsoring you quite easily.
Yeah.
Whereas now people are going, well, hang on. How good are you? Are you going to be on TV a lot?
Sure.
What exposure? Do you watch your social media following as well? Like,
Yeah.
it's definitely a bit of a relationship where you have to have both, I feel now. So getting access to these players, I'm not saying it's easy, it's seriously not, but I think now more than ever, they're more open to doing things.
Yeah, 100%. I think the PGA Tour, and I don't want to make any assumptions here, seem to be a bit more accommodating to that. I did have a conversation with one of the guys that runs social media. I won't say who he is or who for one of the DP World Tour players. And it's quite difficult for them to be allowed to produce content because the DP World Tour own so much of the media rights. I think it's changing slightly. And with what you're just saying, perhaps it's going to push things where they need to go, because quite frankly, social media is so strong and people want to see what goes on in the practice rounds, behind the scenes, on the driving range, etc.
But it all comes down to money. I know, like, if, for example, let's just take the week of the Open, if you're creating content, you can't create content past Wednesday, I think, or something, because obviously whoever's Sky, TNT, whoever it is, they're paid fortunes for the rights.
Yeah.
So they want to control every single piece of content, which for the amount of money they pay, I totally get it. But I feel like there's got to be some lenience for players on the run-up to be able to do their own thing, which would really give us as fans an unbelievable insight. You'd also start to feel like you know them more, like as people, not just this media-trained person that answers the questions like a bit of a robot, because that's how they feel they've got to do it.
Yeah. We've had our fingers burnt a little bit, and it's interesting seeing, not burnt, that's not the right word, but because it's so new, isn't it, in terms of getting a camera or a podcaster or just a content creator. And we've watched with our sort of Rise Smilers, there's a few people that are putting things on social media where they've just chucked a camera or microphone into someone at a DP event, even if it's the Pro-Am, and you can see them looking at them and say, get lost, what are you doing? However, the shift is, the scales are tipping, I think, in favour of, perhaps I don't have enough time to talk about Live, let's avoid that for another time, but they are very pro content creators.
I mean, I'll happily say it. Like, I've been to a Live golf event and I've not worked for them, but I've been able to create content there with Scottsdale, a brand that I work with.
Yes.
And they're really, really good.
Yeah.
Like for like a content and access to players, like they're really good. Like even like people like Sergio Garcia, who said to us, "Oh, I can't do it now, guys, but come and catch me after 9,
Yeah.
and I'll do it at the back of the 9th green." True to his word, he did it.
That's cool.
The access is really, really good. Like I managed to play 9 holes with Harold Varner,
Yeah.
and that was great. We played 9 holes with him.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like I
Yeah.
never would have got that. And this is like the week after the Open at JCB.
Yeah, amazing.
So I think like but I do think both of the tours are going, okay, well maybe there's a little bit we can learn from this and we should allow people to do. And you see it this week, they got the Creator Classic in Dubai, I think, the week
Yeah.
before one of the tournaments. And this is just going to keep happening and happening and happening.
Yeah, absolutely. That's goal number 7, isn't it, for us? Things like that. It's good for content. It's good for exposure. It's nice to be involved if you're into golf with those
Yeah.
kind of things. Are you going to be still continuing to do a lot of those, let's say, fun content based type golf
I
days?
think when the time's right, yeah. Just because, like you mentioned it earlier, like have you changed your approach to
Yeah,
concentrating on and getting better? That has got to be the content that I create and the time that I dedicate has to be primarily towards that.
sure.
Like again, like I have to have a good season because if I don't, then people won't take me seriously, and that's why it's almost like. That's why it's probably more exciting to watch, but also it's more stressful for me. But that's why people, I think, really like this idea of this story. I hope they do anyway. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I hope they are. But then if I go and do what we all look at these fun things, that takes time away. Now that there's always that trade-off. Is it good to do for content? Is it not? But I think the forefront of my mind completely is how is this going to affect my practice? Have I got a tournament? I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to not play a tournament because I've got this on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So are you going to try to push more towards the tour tournaments, or are you going to try and play some PGA stuff as well?
I'll play both, like,
Right.
because I don't think Clutch starts till like later on.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'll play maybe 3 or 4 of those. But PGA starts, I think, like start of March, especially now. I mean, they're only local things, but it's still
Yeah.
a good measure. Some guys in my area, like you got a guy called Jamie Howarth, like he played on Challenge
Yes.
Tour for like 3 or 4 years. He's played in the Open, like he's had like the last 4 years just winning every week. So I'd like to
Right.
sort of try and take some money off him and the local stuff. But like the standard in the Northwest standard in the PGA is actually people don't realize is really good.
Yeah.
Like it's just the top standard's really good. The bottom bit is the span is very, very big.
Sure.
Whereas Clutch, obviously, the span is really, really tight. And then it gets tighter and everybody's good on challenge and everybody's really, really very good on the DP. But still, you've got to be able to shoot 4 or 5 under for 1 round to win any money on the PGA. And that's for
Absolutely.
people listening. I don't mean the PGA Tour. I mean PGA North region in the UK.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, you've got to be on it, haven't you? There's no having a bad first day and then coming up with a 61 on day 2 to make up for it. In terms of one other thing we saw quickly, you're going for Open qualifying this year. Is that
Yeah.
just to see where you're at the kind of third way through part, or is that with a view to qualify?
I'd like to say both.
Sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't think you should really. I mean, people, I get it. People, like you're saying earlier, Chris, you won't go and enter it to have the experience and enjoy it. And I get that. I've done it for the last, when I was a kid, to enter Open qualifying since I got to scratch. Like, you can go and enter it. And it is a really cool experience. But I don't want to do it now and just turn up. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
I want to minimum get through to final stage. I think for me to say to qualify for the Open at the minute would be an unrealistic term. Like, I'm realistic about how good I am now and how good I'm going to be then. But I don't think you can go into it thinking I'm not going to. I think the chances are just very slim. But I want to get through first stage and then to play final. I think that would be a really good way. I mentioned it, like to legitimize what I'm doing on this journey is, okay, I played against 150 people that had dreams of playing the Open and 15 people got through to final qualifying. I was one of them. Like, that's be a really good sort of marker in the journey.
Yeah, I love that. I had a similar view because I really want to do it, but it's kind of at the moment I play off 3 and I want to get down to be able to qualify as an amateur to do Open qualifying. So I think it's like a 0.4 or something. So that's kind of the journey to get to there as well. But also I know I'm not going to make an idiot of myself there. I'm not like a 36 handicap turning up to play in a pro event. But also it'd be cool if I could get through. It would be awesome. And I think I do have the game there to do it. But whether it's there on the day is another question.
But then the flip side of that is it's only 1 round. So anything can happen. Like, literally anything can happen. Like, and then you get to final qualifying. Yes, you're up against a Sergio potentially, but it's only 2 rounds of golf. You're not going against him for a season. anything can happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you've been in both situations, Open qualifying, and you've been with Tom for the main tour qualifying. What do you think is going to be harder? Because there's a lot more golf, isn't there, in Q School than there
Q
is
School,
in.
easy.
Yeah, thought you'd say that.
Yeah, Q School, because I mean, I think of like a sliding doors moment for Tom when I caddied for him on the 18th hole of the 72nd hole of second stage. We were that far from going out of bounds on the right side. Flag goes out of bounds.
Wow.
It literally hit a tree right side of the fairway, pings off. We thought, oh my god, like we obviously knew where we were.
Yeah,
Get there inbounds, we make par, we go through.
amazing.
And then first round of final stage is 6 rounds. It's crazy. We shot
Exactly.
3 over. We shot 3
Yeah.
over, and then we thought, oh well, this is done. He then went 7 under, 7 under, 4 under. I can't remember the last round. I think we shot 3 under final round. He did, and he got a card. Top 20, top 25 got the card. And you're like, 6 rounds is a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
But he was going into that with nothing. He'd lost everything. He had a few challenges to start, so he had so much pressure on his shoulders. So I mean, it's so hard. He had to go to first stage. He played 14 rounds to get a card and finished top 25 out of the best part of 5,000 to 6,000 people.
That is nut. I mean, we were looking at the Ben had a go at it this year. Bad first start. You've almost have every round has to be in the 60s.
Yeah.
Did it? And low
Yeah.
60s. You look at some of those numbers, those that finished top 20 to 25. It's like, par bogey, par birdie, par birdie, 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 but crazy.
It's mad.
All over the board. Yeah, so no pressure.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm giving myself 18 months.
I think a lot of it's going to come down to putting, isn't it? Once you get a stable game.
Like those guys, I'm not going to say it's a putting competition, but it is.
It
Like
is.
everybody who gets to, let's say, final stage, for example, they all can hit it. Even at first stage, everybody can hit it so good.
Yeah.
But there's 2 things. One of them has bottle that get through, and the others are really good putters.
Absolutely.
And I think there's also, like, if you say the third thing would be, you've got to play well at the right time. Like, everybody's good, but, like, you've just got to get hot at the right time. And sometimes you might be, sometimes you might not be.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we are looking forward to seeing the journey and following along because we're willing you to succeed. And
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
not just what's happening at the end of 2027. There's going to be incremental things that are going to go along. I think you, as well as if you know golf, you'll know that it's not going to be a straight line, or should I say, a
Yeah.
straight line down to lower scores. There'll be those rocky moments where you maybe question it completely. There'll be those eureka moments. There'll be those highs and there'll be those lows. So keep going with it. Honestly, we're looking forward to seeing how it all transpires this and next year.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and best of luck with the podcast. I've really enjoyed it today. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a good chat. I think there's been a whole stack of things I could have talked about, but time is probably against us for now. Maybe we'll do it another time.
100%. I'm happy to look at what I'm going, guys. Happy to come on.
Amazing.
What
Thanks,
about
Alex.
doing it after open qualifying? That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Love that.
that'd be
Yeah.
amazing, wouldn't it? In fact, if it
Hopefully we're here celebrating. We've got through to final stage.
Yeah, depending on where you go and where you end up and where we end up, because we're planning on doing a little bit of movement around the country this year. Maybe we'll hook up, meet up, have a game, or come along and
Yeah.
follow one of your tournaments.
I'm going to do Anvil Open qualifying. If it's on the road to this year again. It was
Okay.
last year. Because I played there a lot as a kid. So, well, not a kid, I say I'm a PGA, but yeah, I played there a lot.
Amazing.
Nice.
Thanks again, Alex. And talk
Cheers,
to you
guys.
soon.
Thanks very much.